out, so it's going to be a good one.
Really is, and our top 1 second bracket is 19th or 20th place, based on how you kind of split the difference there, or rounding up or down. But it's going to be a very close race, we expect, as it always is, and always a lot of craziness that happens at New Hampshire, so looking forward to seeing exactly how this one, but it's going to be a very, very fun event. As always, this place never disappoints us. Hello to those of you watching at home, and the engines will rev, and we're off. Sam Edwards, good start on the inside there. Inside line good for him on the beginning here with his turn 1 and 2. NASCAR 1 and 2 here. The big problems though come in turn 4. The chicane, the heavy braking zone as they exit the oval circuit. That gate actually one of those irritations for the oval drivers. If you kind of catch the outside wall where that gate is, Linus, in the oval cars. Oh, we've got a spinner who manages to hold it.
That's Andy Tetley. He's going in the grass, but he's going to survive and keep on going.
He is. The tea has been spilt as we get the rest of the cars filtering through 4. No problems so far. Everyone appears to have gotten through.
Yeah, some slight contact at the back when he rejoined, but nothing major, so everybody is still going. Once again, they have a great start in this series. It's amazing how they just keep on doing that week after week after week. After you have a massive crash, that's Clark Williams, I believe, going around in the carousel and stacking up the whole field.
Yeah, certainly is, and well, these things will unfortunately happen in New Hampshire, but we managed to keep most of the field in one piece, I believe. As up towards the front, it's a breakaway for our top really kind of 7 or 8 drivers there, Linus. We've got Tufts is the last car in that group, top 8 making a run for it. Edwards, Cat, Hughes, Cox, Anderson, Patterson, Daniels, Tufts.
Yeah, they have a great start here, and well, I just want to make a
slight... 3 wide here, actually, just behind that, Linus. I got to break away from you, sorry, for one moment. It's a little bit further back in the pack there. We had 3 wide down the start-finish line. I can't exactly look at who that was now, but absolute knot of cars flying through the field.
Yeah, they are coming up here massively. I just want to make a correction. That was not Clark Williams spinning, that was Sarah Savage. So Williams is still going in 13th, so he is all good to go. Massive bunches of cars all the way through the field. They're 3 and 4 wide around the oval, and then they all have to kind of get along when they get up to the corners going off the oval, because if you're 4 wide there, you're not going to fit. So doing great job by all of them. We have here for 10th and 11th. Oh, that's another car goes around. That's Nicholas Von Roberts actually avoids that. I believe that's Daniel Tufts going around in front of the field, but everybody gets through there nicely. Von Roberts and James Child was racing for 11th and 12th there, but had to break up that fight, and that kind of spread the field out even more.
Really did there. Top group breaking away. No real fighting from them so far. They're working on opening that gap. It's going to be about 6 seconds, I think, this time as they come across the line. But they are trying to stay streamlined, make this a race for just the top 8. There's a second group there led by... Oh, Daniel Tufts has fallen way back in the field after he had a bit of a sideways moment. We've got a second group led by Chris Bassett there. He's doing what he can to lead these guys forwards. Daniels actually dropped back as well. They're now 6 seconds adrift of your lead pack, Linus, which is quite a margin really already in this race. We're only lap number 3, and they're already dropping. Oh, big spinner there as SJ Dunning, right in the middle of the racetrack. Ooh, into 4, one of our danger spots, and Dunning gets caught from behind by the 43. That is Chris Robertson. Both of them end up spinning around, and oh my gosh, he ends up right in the middle of the track. Everyone just stops. The 99 has to stop dead on the track, and Peter Cowan reversing on the racetrack, and oh, what a rejoin there by SJ Dunning as he just turns across in front of the nose of the 15 car. That is Cesar Rizzo. Let's just turns in front of him. Why not? Let's just try and J-turn here. But a very messy place to have an incident right in the Roval gate.
Yeah, that is one of the worst places to have an incident on this track, because there's literally no room for anybody to get through if you block it, obviously. And well, fortunately there was only 4 cars involved in that. Looking back to the front though, it's still Simon Edwards from Anthony Cat and Leah Hughes, and Cox, Anderson, Pattinson behind, not making too much of an attempt to pass here. We've got 7.5 seconds now down to 7th, thanks to all the incidents they had early on, but looking like all they're doing now is just trying to keep up, because Simon Edwards has really set the pace there and he's doing his best keeping the lead from pole position.
Doing exactly what he can try to do with this one. We had a crash for the 80 car as well. They've had some moments. That's Andy Tetley once again. The T has well and truly left the bag. At this point, he spun out on the front stretch. And I think that was a collision with...
massive crash, actually. Somebody hit the pit wall and they just piled straight into him.
Yeah, that was Rizzo in front of him. Rizzo ends up sideways, and he bounces off that divider, and cars collide into the middle, and I think that car that spun over the top of them. My gosh, that was a horrible crash. I can see as the 11 slammed into the back of the 53 car there. Yeah, that was the 53, and just sent him rolling over, Linus. Tetley in the wall. Tetley caught the wall, peeled off the wall, got clapped by another vehicle, and everyone ends up in a massive pile-up, and Cowan caught as well. That's taken out about 6 cars, I'd say.
Yeah, thereabouts. I think one of them was able to keep on going, but it's definitely taken out quite a few contenders there in the midfield.
Yeah, it really has, and that will definitely cause a major upset for the race as it stands. But they're going to try and get themselves going for this here. My gosh, what a huge incident. Lead back, Linus. They're just running nice and smooth.
Yeah, nothing, still nothing happened, not changing positions at all. The only position change from the beginning is cat pass use, but that was on lap number 1, and since then there's not been a single pass in this group, I don't think. Coming in now to the last bit of a, it's kind of a chicane, but they just make it a long left-hander, and back into this pit wall here where we had that incident. And you see just how close to it you go. It's very narrowly that you just avoid it without making contact. So if you do, it's going to be massive because the cars behind you obviously at full speed. Cat looking on the outside of Edwards though. He's not going to be able to make a move out there. Edwards obviously clearing him on the inside. Here comes Liu's, not close enough to Cat though, is he? He's going to have a look. Cat goes really wide to defend from Yuzu. Goes on the outside into turn number 3, but is not going to be able to do anything there. Cox backs out to not get into trouble, and well, it just looks like they can't get close enough to each other. As here comes Yuzu again, moving out of the draft, and yeah, he's just going to stay behind. Looks like it is really hard to pass for these cars today.
I think it might be, but we've had a fairly clean and intact race so far. Looking back here, actually, we've got Paul Smith running side by side with Tim Adcock there. Behind them, it's going to be Simon Maltby. This is back for 13th, 14th, 15th place here on the racetrack, and Smith defending that inside line well. Runs kind of wide here. Will Adcock be able to come back at him here? No. Smith closes off the door there. RaceSpotTV's own, of course, Paul Smith there running. It's been a good spot for him so far, doing a good race.
Yeah, he really is. He's getting closer and closer to that top 10. He actually started in 24th, so he's made up 10 positions to where he is now. Actually pulling away slightly from Adcock and Maltby as well, picking up the fight on, or the chase on P13 there. So good job getting past these two. And while we're speaking of him, we also have Connery Maddock in this race. He's not had a very good start though, as he was probably involved in some incident, as he's dropping back and down in 35th at the moment by himself. Not too far away from getting lapped actually, because the leaders are on the hill right behind him.
Yeah, they are, and the leaders are definitely coming up a lot closer than they'd like to some of these guys as the lapping starts to really take earnest. They'll be passing 35th place next, and that's likely to be Connery Maddock, as we mentioned there. He is, actually no, down in the front straight, so that's a different car actually just ahead of your lead vehicles. He moves well out of the way. That's Cowan, who's going to be multiple laps down after that incident we saw earlier on. That'll be his second lap down. Connery Maddock there running back in 35th on the front straight on his own, so no one to really draft with, which is going to hurt him. Leaders there right behind him as he turns into turn 1. They're crossing the line. And we can see there Matt Cox pulled out a line to clear that draft, cool down his radiators, Linus. As Edwards has been really controlling the pace of this one, Cat, whilst he moved up a spot at the start. There's not been much moved in this front group.
No, I don't know if they can't get to him or if they're just taking it easy, but at this point with this massive, well, big of a lead, they've still got 8.8 seconds down to 7th place, so they can start racing. But we've seen this time and time again from these top 3 guys. They just don't start battling until the end to make sure that they get a gap, and they just can't seem to get away from Cox, Anderson and Pattinson at the moment. So hopefully we can get somebody in here later to tell us what's going on, but it seems like they are not able to make any passes whatsoever up in this group right now, as Anderson had a bit of a slow exit out of the carousel, but Pattinson not able to make a move. So still same order 1 through 6.
Yeah, it really is, and looks like Cat's been trying to make an opportunity for himself, but just not able to really find any real headway here. The momentum's definitely what's causing him to struggle. This track's always been a bit difficult when it comes to passing, Linus, I found. Like, it seems as though the drivers, whilst they want to try and find something, or we might see something here from Cat as he looks to the higher side, but no, just dips back in line there. There are the multiple grooves, of course, with that progressive banking. None of them really seem to use that slightly higher line and use that draft, but here we go. Here's Claire Hughes looking to go inside on Anthony Cat now for the lead. Well, not for the lead, I should say, for the lead group. Doesn't get it done in time, though. They just don't have enough room to really get up to speed. The momentum's not with them.
Yeah, you have good speed into NASCAR turn 1, but then you got to be on the outside through the turn because obviously the leader holds the inside, and then you just can't do anything, and then your momentum is killed going into turn 3. So it's probably you're going to have a mistake from the car in front of you, or you need to set him up properly by getting a really good exit out of the corner. As you see Cat here coming out of the carousel again over at the top of the hill and down. He's getting really close to Edwards, but he just can't find an opening, and there's no real good passing spots here. See if maybe he can set him up for now for this last long left-hander. Sorry, he doesn't get a good entry to it though, and Hughes comes right up the back of him, and he's probably not going to be able to do anything again, as Edwards might start feeling the draft from Connery Maddock in front of him, which is definitely going to help the leader. And at the back now, Pattinson had a look, but he tucked in behind Anderson again. So
yeah, he really did there. As right now, Edwards just controlling the pace over this race now as they're coming up behind Maddock. No, sorry. Yes, actually. Maddock. I was thinking the wrong name for a second there. Just do excuse me. Clark Williams and James Child running currently in 8th and 9th place. Williams looking to try and make a move now on the 37. They're going to run into 3, but again backs down. Just not quite the momentum to really get alongside her into an attacking position here. We've got Vaughan Roberts right behind them there, Linus, on lap number 10. We're at just approaching the halfway point at the end of this lap, and Vaughan Roberts closing in here to try and take that spot, enter himself securely into the top 10.
yeah, this is looking like it could be a proper battle now. Williams has made up 5 positions so far, so he's definitely got speed. He's going to have a look here. He's not going to get an opening though. Down the hill he's staying really close. I think we could see him try to set him up here into NASCAR turn 1. Needs to go really well over the bump, so you can see just how much the cars bounce as they come over the back straight there onto the infield. He's going to back off slightly. He might get a good exit here. He had a good run through the corner. Vaughan Roberts is closing ever so slightly every single lap though. Here comes Clark Williams. He's got the run on James Child. Is it going to be enough though? Child is going to defend. Williams has to go to the outside, and that is not going to help him. Maybe Child will drift wide and he can pull the crossover here. He's going to try. He's going to have the inside for the kink, but he's going to be outside into turn 3, and that's not going to help him unless he can be really late on the brakes. Here they come. Williams clips the grass, but Child has the inside, and he is going to hold on to that position through the double left-hander. Up the hill they come, and Williams, he's actually holding it on the outside, and he's going to have the inside for the carousel.
That'll be huge there for Clark Williams. Nicely timed and very well set up move to try and carry that momentum through there. Takes the spot. Runs wide. Will he secure the door? Can he close that in front of Child? He does. Nicely secured there by Clark Williams, and moves himself up to the 8th spot.
I did not think he was going to be able to hold it around the outside through that double right-hander, but somehow he just trusted his car and it just stuck for him. So great move from Williams, moving him up to 8th place. Next car up the road though is Ben Daniels, 4 seconds, so don't think he's going to have too much of a chance to get him, but this race is obviously going to keep him going. Vaughan Roberts now trying to get a run on James Child, who gets a much better exit this time, but he's not going to be close enough to make a move on Williams, I don't think. He's going to be right on him, but he's not going to make anything happen, so Williams looking like he's going to hold on to that 8th place for now.
Yeah, it really is there. As up towards the front, we've got a very different story. Edwards has opened that gap now. About a second to back to Anthony Cat. Cat and Hughes still together, but the gap behind them again to Cox and Patterson has widened up a little bit. And in fact, Cox, Patterson and Anderson running together. Ben Daniels has dropped back even further. They're going to be 9 seconds adrift, Linus, of Lee Anderson. Ben Daniels 9 seconds back, and Clark Williams just behind them. So that is a whopping gap.
Yeah, this group of front 6 cars have really set sail here today. They've got a great pace. Everybody trying to keep up with Edwards, who's obviously, like you said, pulled up a bit of a gap there. I wonder if that might have been Lee Hughes trying to make a pass on Anthony Cass, slowing both of them way down and stacking up the guys behind him. We'll see here. He does not close in on Simon Edwards on that lap though, so Edwards might have gotten the gap that he wanted here, and one more move from Lee Hughes, and Simon Edwards will be away with the win here by the looks of it. He's not quite close enough this time though. Cat pushing really hard for the double right-hander here over the hill, and it looks like it's actually getting slightly closer now. down the 2 straightaways using the draft, so he might be able to catch up with Simon Edwards within a couple of laps if the use can be patient and stay behind.
Yeah, he certainly will, as of course the race just keeps coming forwards here, and it's definitely been a very intense one so far from what we've seen. These guys absolutely pushing what they can do with this, but it just seems as though the momentum is really going to hounding it. We've got loads of cars all over each other, Linus. We've had quite a few big pileups, but it seems as though just finding the opportunity takes 4 or 5 corners to set up.
Yeah, it's you really need to have the flow through all the corners if you're going to make something happen, and like we saw Williams when he passed Child, he pulled a crossover on him by going the outside and then cutting under him when he drifted wide on the exit, and that's pretty much what you got to do. We saw Cat and Edwards earlier when they were racing. Edwards was somehow able to hold his car well down the inside coming out of the corner as well, so Cat was not able to do that, which might be something that have helped Simon Edwards, and Edwards just keeps getting drafts from the left cars now, and if he catches them on a straightaway, that's definitely going to help him.
Really is. Keeping an eye here at the moment on Paul Smith. He's running in this group from 14th place backwards, holding the hounds at bay. It's going to be Smith, Adcock, Maltby, Morris, Robertson in the back of that group there, and it's been definitely quite the attack really from a lot of these guys. We've seen Maltby there fighting with Rizzo, who's a lap down, but Smith holding his own here. He's having a fantastic race considering his previous results in this series. Must be really enjoying that one today in the cockpit. He's holding these guys back, but not really holding them back. Well, they really can't catch him. He's running very well.
Yeah, he is. He's holding that gap of about half a second to them coming across the line every single lap, and as we see Morris Maltby getting a little bit wider in the background. He's off. Paul Smith has lost it over the bumps, and he didn't hit the wall though, so he's going to be able to keep going, but that's going to drop him way down.
We say how good he's doing, and he loops the car. We're sorry, Paul. We might have caused that one, so he's had to patiently wait. That's a perfect rejoin, though, an example of what to do, the right thing to do for a racer, of course. He has lost spots, but
only down to 18, so not too bad.
Yeah, that's not too bad. He could have done worse, but Paul Smith there doing the very honourable, correct racing move.
He really did. That was.
He's up in 4th place. He is being attacked now by Anderson. I believe he's just lost that spot to Patterson. He has. And now it's Anderson looking for the opportunity.
It is. They're getting over the bumps, though, and he goes a little bit wider. Cox almost clips the grass. And he's very aggressive over the curbs here now, trying to make that position back up. Got a big gap up to Pattinson in front of him, though, so he's not going to catch up to him. Anderson looks like he's getting the better exit, though. Maybe Cox has some sort of damage to that car, because he's not able to catch up to Pattinson as much as I thought he would down that straightaway, but Anderson also not getting close enough to make a move. That's the trio in front of him. Cat is having a slight look on Edwards. He is not going to be able to make it, though. Hughes goes around the outside, but he's going to back out as well, so almost had a move there for the lead, but wasn't quite enough. But they're right on the back of Edwards now, so the race for the lead is on here with just over 5 laps to go.
What bothers me about this lead, of course, is the natural virtue that by fighting, they're bringing this gap right down. And these guys behind them are catching up very quickly here. Now, the group behind that is dropping back even further. They're down to 13 seconds adrift, but the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th places are really starting to wind that gap in now. It's down to 2.5 seconds between them. So they could become a factor in this, especially with lap traffic playing into this, and if they fight more.
Yeah, it really could. It's not a lot of place to fight on, though, so I don't know if it's going to cost them that much, and if the guys behind start fighting as well, it's not going to hurt them too much. See Edwards, though, moving away from the wall to cover up on Cat there. He's getting slight draft from the car in front of him. That is Christopher Kane, who's down in 30th. Trying to get well out of the way here, see if he's going to do it before the kink, or if he's going to try and... if he's actually going to get in the way slightly. He is going to hold it really, really wide here. Oh, that's going to be interesting. He locks it up. Edwards gets right on the back of him, but he stays wide here in the double right-hander, so good job by him. Edwards able to get by, and so is Cat and Leah Hughes. And coming over the hill behind them is the same trio without any position changes as well.
Absolutely, we'll have to keep an eye on this one. Anthony Cat hungry for a win here tonight, as Hughes also waiting for the opportunity just behind them. And Vaughan Roberts side by side here with James Child behind Clark Williams, and Can Child make it? Oh, as sideways goes Vaughan Roberts, but he holds on. And it seems as though we get a bit of a slowdown from Child too, and Vaughan Roberts catches back up again, but that just allows Williams there, Linus, to just dart away a little bit further in the front, and this brings up, it's Maddox behind them, who is a lap down, I believe, but could we see Vaughan Roberts hop a spot here?
We might very well do. Depends on how well he can get through this long left-hander. It looks like he gets a little bit sideways and he goes in the grass. That's definitely going to cost him, so Child is going to be able to open that gap up a little bit, I thought, but Vaughan Roberts seems to have kept the speed through the grass there, so here we go, and we got a pass for second place. The Wheelie Hughes is on the outside of Anthony Cat, but he's going to be able to clear him in the double right-hander as we come up to lap traffic, and well, he's trying, but he couldn't quite get there.
Absolutely not. Coming through the carousel section here now, of course, and lap traffic might be an impediment for your leader, apart from the fact they get out of the way nice and quickly for him. That's useful, as Edwards manages to hold on to this one right now, and coming down to rejoin the Roval section here, and Edwards has a commanding lead still, but Cat and Hughes still very close here. It's a toss-up to see whether Hughes will be able to get through this one, Linus.
Yeah, as long as Hughes attacks Cat is not going to be able to do anything to Edwards, as we're coming down now to 3 laps to go of this race. He's going really defensive, doing the IndyCar line down this short little straightaway for some reason. I don't know if that's going to help with that such a short straight, but he's doing it, and as you can see here, he's going to be able to keep it really, really tight coming out of the oval turn 2 here. Cat is able to do it as well. Hughes drifts out a little bit, and they're going to close in again, but not quite close enough to make a move this time. So he's going to have 2 more chances down in that corner, Cat, but he might be able to set him up down the hill here. He's getting close, but this is not a place where you want to make a dive. He's having a slight look, but he goes back in behind, so Edwards still holding on to the lead, but Cat is trying everything he can.
Oh, absolutely. Cat is looking for every opportunity to find a way in here, but he just doesn't quite have a right opening, Linus. It just seems like wherever he wants to go, Edwards is already there. Edwards is setting himself up for corners slightly early. He might not be running as fast as he could, but he's playing a line that really doesn't give Cat a chance to gain momentum, and that's exactly what he has to do here. On a track like this, it's super short, super twisty. There's so many opportunities for that to really be broken, but he just seems to be putting himself in exactly the right position to do what he needs to do here, to hold on to this lead onto like 20 here, and we'll have another one after this, so 2 to go. And Cat runs wide, tries to get some momentum, but up the inside will come Hughes. Will this be enough? Hughes got a good overlap here, but he's going to be on the outside. Could he do what Williams did? Hangs it around the outside, but just can't quite hold on, and the door gets closed. So no real opportunity there for clear Hughes, but he has a bit of an overlap here into the carousel. Will it be enough to use? Goes up the inside. This is going to open the door again for Edwards. He has more time, more space, and I think it's going to be held by Anthony Cat here, as the next corner will favour him slightly, and it just about does. He closes that door. Looking further back though, Patterson and Cox and Anderson still racing here. Patterson leading this group from 4th place, 5th place Cox, 6th place Anderson. No real change in position there, but we're going to be coming on to that final lap now, and the cloud appears to come out over the actual oval portion itself, Linus. I'm not sure it'll have much impact on a single lap, but the gap now between Cat and Edwards is, I'd say, about 3-4 tenths. It's not much at the moment, as it's going to be enough, I think, to hold him off. He's just not gaining there. Look at that. You see Edwards running away a little bit, pulling away, because he's just got a slightly higher line.
Here comes Lee Hughes, so looking to the inside. Cat went really wide out of the oval. Hughes breaks slightly later. He's going to try it again around the outside. It breaks way too late, goes way too wide, and that is probably game over for Lee Hughes, I would believe, unless he can make a move again here coming down the hill. He is not going to be able to do it though.
But this is it. Simon Edwards going to be coming through here. A good gap there. Another 3 or 4 tenths for him over Anthony Cat in 2nd place. There'll only have been 1 position change in the top 3, and that is Cat from 3rd to 2nd. But he started on the pole. There's 2 lap cars ahead of him, and I don't think it'll have any real impact for them here as they come through this final section on the infield here of NASCAR 3 and 4. Simon Edwards now. Only 1 kink to go, and he'll claim victory here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And that little draft from the lap cars will give him that tow across the line, and Simon Edwards will win here at New Hampshire. Anthony Cat 2nd place, Clay Hughes in 3rd. And just behind them, Patterson, Anderson and Cox coming across the line. Cox had a bit of a wobble. We'll have a quick look back to see what actually happened to him, because Cox wasn't running back there. Anderson got that position, and it was a bit of sideways action. Okay, so it was in the carousel section, side by side. And on the exit of the carousel, Cox just gets a little loose. He goes a bit low on entry, and the car just steps out on exit.
Yeah, just pushing too hard, trying to get another position, ends up losing one, so it's very unfortunate for him. We have a side-by-side into the last corner here between Kirkman and Savage for P number 20. See if we can have time to get that up on your screen.
Savage
I think
inside,
we will.
should have it.
Here they come. Savage on the inside, like you said. He's got half a car length ahead. He's going to try and get some side draft though, but Sarah Savage is going to take that 20th position away in the last corner, so good job by her to do that.
Certainly was, and with that we'll go, I think, to our post-race results as everyone's coming across the line now down to the final cars on the lead lap. No position changes expected, so your results. Simon Edwards comes home with the victory here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Anthony Catt in second place. Clay Hughes in third, with Ewan Patterson and Lee Anderson bringing up your top five. Behind them, it is Matt Cox, Ben Daniels, James Child, Clark Williams and Nicholas Vaughan Roberts in 10th. And it's Chris Bassett, Dave Martin, James Ruth Jones, Tim Adcock, Simon Maltby, Chris Robertson, Chris Morris, Paul Smith in 18th place with Rhys Hardwick, and Sarah Savage in 20th, making that final position gained the one that counts. As those results up on your screen, as we've had a pretty exciting race here, as the draft didn't exist, passing was super hard and tactical, made for a very interesting race.
Yeah, it was really tactical, and great to see Simon Edwards and his skills in defending that, knowing exactly what to do to hold Anthony Catt off, and only beating him by 4 tenths at the end, which is the biggest margin of victory we've had so far this season. Also a very well needed win by Simon Edwards, who obviously didn't do too well in the first round, and then won second and now won again, so he's definitely in the hunt for the championship, and it's going to be a great battle between these three once again this season, I believe.
I think it certainly is. Well, we're going to stick around, I hope, for an interview or two with some of the guys from tonight's race. As Linus, this season's been interesting for sure since recent changes, and of course, when that Skippy series always adapts and finds a way, and I think we're starting to see some really adaptive racing with how the cars have changed again.
Yeah, it's obviously people adapting differently, but it's Edwards, Catt, Hughes, Anderson, Patterson, same people as last season that are on top again. James Child doing good today, finishing 18th, so he's on the rise, but it's the same three as last season, and they've all done well again here today, so it's the championship is really shaping up to be a good one.
Yeah, it really is, and we have actually got a chance to talk to Simon Edwards, who is here to join us. Simon Edwards coming home today from pole position to the win. A very interesting race and some tactical defence from you, I think, tonight.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking you were going to think it was an interesting race, seeing nothing happened at the top. I thought it might have been quite boring for you. I hope there was enough action elsewhere.
There was plenty of rather monumental moments throughout the field, we'll put it that way, but there was definitely stuff happening at the front. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, I was just concentrating on doing the last part of the lap properly so that I could get enough gap before we got to T1. And then I was just hoping that my better inside line was going to beat them, and it did.
It seemed as though in NASCAR 1 and 2 you had a slightly higher groove.
Yeah. I've got an asymmetric setup on the car, so it was what I was using on the oval yesterday, slightly modified from the 2K race.
Ah, very clever. Okay, using some oval logic here. Of course, with it being a predominantly left-hand circuit, makes sense.
Yeah, that's probably why you'll see I was a bit iffy on T2 a couple of times, where I got wide a couple of times. It's because it was less effective on that turn.
That makes all the sense now. We see what he's doing, Lena. It's very clever moves there from Simon. But can you tell us, how much has the car changed this season, really, for you guys?
From last season, not too much on the dynamics of the car. Obviously, with the new damage model, the car is more robust and more fragile at the same time. You can take a few hits to the rear now, but of course with the model that we're on today, because we disabled the damaged model, then a wheel bends, whereas it would break off in the new one. So really it's only the damaged model that's changed this season, just with a small tweak to the tyres, but once they're warmed up they feel almost identical to last season.
We did see a lot of guys doing some burnouts in the qualifying before they went for their runs. Is that a new meta?
The burnout, as in donuts?
Okay.
Oh dear. If they did that in members, they'd get banned. Or if they did it in the 2K Cup, they get banned.
Oh, are we back to the old IndyCar fixed series shenanigans of sitting there banging the red limiter before you go for your qualifying lap routine to burn fuel? Ooh, do we detect shenanigans? I think we do here at RaceSpotTV. So we will wrap this one up. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Simon, as we've just caused a little bit of controversy by bringing something up we saw. But we'll take it to that. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, folks, it's been an interesting one here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway and a very exciting race. So thank you for joining us, and we'll be back at the same time next week. Good night.